Just want to do a quick tutorial on how to assemble the owls. I went ahead and I cut this scrapbook paper on the Glowforge and I applied it to this layer here, and I just used Mod Podge. You can do 50-50 glue and water, just the white glue and water. So I just applied that with a brush. So I use this type of brush. It's just any old brush. Just make sure you wash it and have a dedicated brush, just because sometimes it doesn't always wash all the way through and your brush does get a little stiff. So I went ahead and put that on here. Got a little bit of fingerprints, but that's okay because I'm going to cover that anyways. So I'm going to use Loctite. This is the type of glue I use. So I use the Loctite super glue. It's the gel. And what I would do is I would put that right on here and I would stick that right on. So there's our next layer. So I did paint the bottom of the feet. There's no reason to paint the whole thing just because it's going to be covered up. You don't have to add a piece of wood to this. You could actually just put the scrapbook paper right on here and save yourself some wood. I just wanted the extra thickness for it. I cut this out of 1/8, but you do not have to cut this piece out. You could just put that scrapbook paper right onto that original layer. So I went ahead, here's my wing, and it cuts like this. I went ahead and cut the scrapbook paper and applied it with the Mod Podge again. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick it on here. These pieces fit right together. There's that. Here are the eyes. I just used some chalk paint for this. It's just like a kind of like a cream colored chalk paint, like an off-white. Do not need to paint this piece because you're not going to see it. There are score lines, but you can't see them. I didn't bother to use the score lines because I know how to place it, but once you put the scrapbook paper on, you may not see those score lines, so I didn't feel like I needed to use those. So you're gonna put that piece on. It goes right above the eyes, and you have this piece that fits right above that. All right, and again, I just used some scrapbook paper. I used like a kind of a wood grain for that. So, and then we have the little beak, and the round part goes at the bottom. So that just fits right in there like a puzzle. And you can leave it like that if you wanted to, but I give you an extra beak so you can have it kind of the same height as his little eyebrows there. And then I have his little button eyes, and I just Mod Podge some scrapbook paper on there. I definitely recommend just painting those. Those are kind of hard to do with scrapbook paper. So you can just go ahead and stick them on how you like. One eye is bigger than the other because it's kind of like he's facing towards you. So this eye is a little bit bigger and this one's a little bit smaller. Plus, I kind of like it that way. I wanted it to kind of give like a folk art style. And then I have these little sunflowers. Here are the little pieces. Again, I just used scrapbook paper on these and just put the bigger one on top and the smaller one here. So that's how you put him together. And then there are the little stands, and I put scrapbook paper on here. They just line up. I didn't bother to paint the whole thing because you're not going to see that part. So you're just going to line that up, and you're going to put his little feet right in that base. So you just glue everything together and you are good to go. And we have the little guy. Here's our tiny little baby owl. I can show you that one too really quick. I'll move this one out of the way. So that's the biggest one. And here's his little body. So we're gonna stick that right on. Again, I just painted this with some yellow chalk paint. Here's his little eyes. And again, you don't need to, oh, I got the wrong piece here. That's the other one. So you don't need to paint this piece. Just set that right down here. I like to keep all my pieces organized. So I have the biggest one, medium, and then the small. Oops. So that's how you're gonna put it on. Like I said, there are score lines to help you with that. And then here's his little eyebrows. And here's his little eyes. And he has his little button eyes. This is not dry yet, so I'm gonna just set it over here. There's some, takes a little while to dry. And here's this one's dry. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set that one down. There's definitely some Mod Podge in there. I don't wanna get Mod Podge all over yet until that's dry. I might just kind of wipe that away. Just make sure when you're putting the Mod Podge on the eyes, on the buttons, that you don't get it in those little holes too much, because it will get stuck in there. So, but I'll just set that down here for a second. And then we have his little nose, or his beak rather. So you can do it just like that and leave it just by itself, like that, or you can add the extra layer. I like the extra layer because it gives it some height. There's his little beak. And then I made a really big flower for him, so I think he's just so cute. And you can put it where you'd like. So there's our little owl. And you can put it how you want it, or you could leave it off. You don't have to put it on there. So there's our little guy. All right, so that's how you put the owls together. And he has his little tiny stand. He's got a smaller one, a little small stand. All right, and I only just painted just part of it. I didn't have to paint the whole thing. So there's his little stand. So there is our owl. So there we have it. All right, thanks a lot.